Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Thursday, August 7th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts ever so briefly. Take a look at the big picture resistance, low to upper 350s, able to contain monthly buying pressures if or when tested again, possibly into later year. I don't see a sign for longer term upward continuation through the rest of the year and into early next, unless we were to close above 357.49, at least at this point in time. I'm going to allude to, in a moment or two, an earlier buy signal that more aggressive traders might act on, but I say that very cautiously. I do still want to see a weekly settlement above 357.49, but I will say, and I'll just jump to the chart right now, a daily settlement above this rising channel at 344.19, which we are expecting now over the next week or two. So now I'm kind of slipping into the daily analysis, and I'll continue to do so. We did violate, a trend line that we've been following for the last week. This was like the third in a series of sell signals that hasn't played out over the last a month or so. There was a 4-month channel we settled below without any downside follow through. And then there was a rising 2/3 speed line we settled below without any downside follow through. I don't think all of that adds up to an incredibly bullish market, just one disinclined for falling into the 260s or lower. Right now, we're just kind of holding steady and closing about 317.95 does indicate a likely upward continuation over the next, where is the chart? Over the next several days, perhaps a 332.39. This descending channel top well suited to contain daily highs. We could see this yet, certainly before the week is out. We might even see it today. 317.95 is the long-term trend line that can contain intraday selling pressures, and above which 332.39 is attainable today, where a daily high can be placed. We may even fall away from here through the rest of the week. But overall, I think the yet again rejection of a meaningful sell signal does carry with it a 1 to 2 weeks upward continuation to 344.19. And 344.19 would actually be expected tomorrow if we close today above 332.39. But, the normal ebb and flow, we could tap out here for a few days, perhaps fall away, and then closing above 32.39, 344.19 in reach within a day or two. And this channel top, rising channel top, if we didn't have the low to upper 350s sort of in the way on the weekly chart, I would aggressively consider, a settlement above 344.19 as a go with buy signal. And what I also like about it, I'm going to sort of jump to the weekly chart. The weekly chart presently has, and I don't mean to throw a lot of numbers at you, but there is a descending trend line off the highs on the weekly chart at 342.29. So I have that, if you look upper right, just a minor point. I think that if we were to close the week, this week, which is not likely, above the 342.29 to 344.19 area, we have ourselves a meaningful buy signal into September, October. And then, of course, if you wanted to go longer term, that is to say, through the rest of the year, you might also await a settlement above 357.49 because it just might act as a spoiler on a buy signal above 344.19. So you know what to do. I think 1 to 2 week swing traders can play the short side at 344.19. If we close above 344.19, I think you should exit a short trade. And whether you get long or not, you could do that immediately perhaps, but now you're waiting. It's a waiting game for a weekly settlement then above 357.49. But what you could also do is sell 344.19, either exiting a long position you may have established or playing the short side as a 1 to 2, 2 to 3 week swing trader. A closing above 344.19 is your indication to exit a short position, and you could then get long with a settlement above 357.49. That's another way to look at it. You could also, and this is there's always more than one way to play these things, right? You could sell 344.19 lightly, not aggressively, and scale into a long position up to 357.49. And then if we close any week above 357.49, you aggressively reverse and go long. You go long a full position, anticipating then, a half-year upward continuation. Could take longer, but we've got plenty of precedent for more aggressive gains, and it could be within 3 to 5 months that we see 519.81, a 5-year channel top, able to contain buying well into next year. Let me take you back to this weekly chart because we also have a trend line off the lows. Now, this trend line we've been following, we even closed below it on a daily basis. It was an intraday pivot point. But if you look at the weekly chart, you can see how on the weekly chart, it's been holding. And so we're bumping up our downward pivot point to this wedge formation, 301.22. Pullback support, and yes, if settled below, does pivot the market south, possibly as far south within a month or two to 250.33, that descending channel bottom on the weekly chart I've shown before. But, honestly, I think this is the likelier outcome, that if we were to close below 301.22, which I show represented here as a horizontal line, you can expect within 2 to 3 weeks 265.40. And as I've been saying about these two structures, this is a zone that you could scale into a long position. Exit a short position that may be established with a settlement below 301.22. And, you could then scale into a gradual long position all the way down to 245.88, because from this zone, we can round up into later year. If we were, of course, as I've said before, to settle below this descending channel bottom on the weekly chart, then we've got a 2 to 3 month sell signal into the low to upper 160s, where Tesla encounters a significant long-term support able to contain selling through all of 26. So this is sort of what we're following now as part of the range of line studies that we generally follow. And I do see 301.22 as a near-term support area, able to contain selling on a weekly basis, possibly into later August, above which the low 340s in reach over the next couple of weeks. And that's actually consistent with the sell signal rejection that occurred actually on Wednesday. By having closed back above this trend line, we now do anticipate, once again, the mid 340s over the next week or two. And that descending trend line on the weekly chart is the lower 340s. So we'll nuance and finesse this as we go along. But this is sort of a two-sided framework.
If you're finding value in this analysis, it's only a glimpse of what we offer. Your real trading edge starts at wickedstocks.com. Each week, premium members receive 2 high-probability stock picks. Each one comes with a complete trade plan, including exact entry, profit target, stop loss, and regular updates so you can manage the trade with confidence. You'll also get daily video analysis in the top traded markets, the SPY, the Triple Q, and NVIDIA, highlighting the key price levels, trends, and trade setups we're focused on. Whether you're day trading or swing trading, these insights help you zero in on the highest quality opportunities with clarity. Try it all free for 5 days. Cancel at any time.
Directionless formation, and it presents a directional indication if you close outside of it. The only problem, once again, with closing above 342.29 is we've got these longer-term areas, the 50% upside retracement from December down to April, and also this 2.5-year channel top, 357.49, that despite its violation has held nicely. It violated under a high volatility framework and actually did provide a directional indication. When we closed above it in November, it did indicate this 519.81 channel top, which we missed by a degree back in December. And when we closed back below it, and I think this was like in February, March, April, it could have been a March settlement back below it that set off follow-through selling that was already in play, of course, and it's been holding. So, really what I'm saying is if you're going to go all in on a long position that is longer term in scope, it really is a weekly settlement above 357.49. But I think if you're an aggressive trader, you could pursue a long position with a settlement above 344.19 because that in itself is a sign of strength. And how many times can we test the low to upper 350s before they give way? So that could be an early lead on a long position. But if you rather would wait for a weekly settlement above 357.49, I have no problem with that. Let's talk downside here today. We don't have a lot In the immediate vicinity, of course, we've got the trend line at 317.95 that can act as pivot point today, above which 332.39 in reach, and below which will we unwind all the way back to 301.22? I kind of doubt it. Yesterday's low was 306.93. I have trouble seeing that, but who knows? If we open below 317.95, there is the possibility of testing 301.22 intraday. I'll say that if we close today below 317.95, it certainly allows the 301.22 trend line by tomorrow, that is Friday's close. We can continue filling this wedge out over the next few weeks. If we close below it, downward pivot point into September. If we close above it, well, I could say it's an upward pivot point into later year, but once again, let's just hold off on that assumption until we close above 357.49. So there's really no right way to treat this area. You can sell into the low to mid 340s and stop out above the upper 350s. I've already said that. There's a number of ways to play this, and whatever is most consistent with your trading style and your normal trade execution strategy, that's what you should do. One of the things I don't like to do is interfere with people's style. So anyway, I think I've said it all. I've cleared 10 minutes, and I've spent enough time on this. I'm going to leave it at that. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with Friday's Tesla report, and you have a great day.